Alright, it is 9:25 a.m. Monday, first day of the week, June 28th, and the main watch list has not changed other than I add this one, which is very similar to PHIL. It's HPIL. It's a sub penny. It might try to go for a penny. I don't know. I might consider this for a morning panic bounce play, but because it is a sketchy sub penny stock, and I feel like it's only been up 2 days. I mean, sure, it's been up, since here, but like in terms of very large candles, it doesn't seem perfect. I will consider trading it, but I might trade just a tiny size DPLS morning panic bounce play. Same with PHIL. LWLG, this one could be something nice today. AMC is just gonna be a wash again. WSRC, this one, it can be morning panic bounce play, but I might just watch this one. And yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I'm just probably gonna take it easy if there is a setup with some of these that aren't too perfect, like HPIL. Let's see if we get any, and I will try as well morning spikes. I gotta start getting better at that too. Okay, so it's 9:40, and I had two trades. One was PHIL in the right at the open, and the second was just right now. It's still happening. Morning panic bounce play. So here's the thing. In the morning, I thought this thing could have a potential spiking action, that it could run and do a morning spike today. After all, it's trying to rebound from here, so that was the idea here. I had a sketchy problem with I was about to say E-Trade, but this actually happened to Schwab. I haven't had this issue in a while where I just place an order with PHIL and I wasn't extremely sure if it went through or not. It would just sit there and I tried canceling and it wouldn't cancel. So when that happens, it usually means that you probably got in the trade. So what I did was not extremely sure if I was in the trade or not. I just put a sell order, and it eventually worked itself out just to see. It seems like it opened at 9:31, closed. It seems like it went in the same minutes, but it's not. I can't be 100% sure how it did, really. But in theory, I bought and sold the same candle at 9:31. It probably was the case. It just took forever to update and confirm that this was the case, that I got in and I got out 100% sure. So that cleared itself out eventually. LWLG was having a morning panic, but I don't like how this one, I'd have to trade a much larger position size if I want to trade this, because I'd have to buy 100 shares. And this thing is a bit choppy, not the best volume, so I didn't consider this one. WSRC, I was considering it, but it was looking all choppy and messy. So out of all of them, I picked PHIL. DPLS, I guess, had a spike. This one spiked instead. I just did not see that one when it was happening. And HPIL looks like it had a panic, and now it's trying to run through. It's trying to break above that penny level so far. It's above it. We'll see how high this one can go, if it wants to go higher. And here's my play with PHIL. I don't know, I sold because it just looked like it had some topping action, but I actually did better holding this one. So here was and it looks like I tried buying WSRC at 9:35, and that was my limit at 2429. So right here, I tried getting long right here. That would have worked out, but I just didn't get executed, so that was totally fine. It looks like it got to 26, so not bad in terms of range. Really not bad. But anyway, PHIL. Oh, now I did it. It got through that 3.8 level. Was struggling here a bit, but now it's doing it. Now I can go towards VWAP, but I don't like holding with this topping action, because it could just downtrend and have another leg down. I did better holding this one, I think. I bought at 9:37, sold at 9:39, so I at least held for more than 2 minutes, right? 9:37 was right here. I bought at 133, so right here 937, previous candle here, big red candle, big volume candle. This could be it. You know, I buy and I risk off the day low, which is 130. I bought at 133, sold at 137. 2 minutes later, right here, right? Yep, 939 at 137. Sure, I could have gotten 138, but does that really matter if it's bouncing back and forth? Is it going to continue? Is it going to get towards VWAP? I'm going to guess this one can, because a lot of these do, but it doesn't have to. We do have a big person on the bid, which could help it greatly. Volume is still continuously fading, so the chances are there this thing can go to that 142 level. Now, is it going to break past it? Is it going to just barely touch it or go right under it? I don't know, but it has a lot of chance that it can continue the uptrend, even if it's just a little bit, because we have that fading volume right here. I will consider this if it puts up a lower low for a second buy. Those tend to work out eventually. Those tend to take longer, but they work out. And out of curiosity, this was a $600, almost $700 position, so actually a bit larger. And it was a 3% gain. Sold at 137. It's at 139, I think. Yep. This thing can touch VWAP, although there is a big wall there. You can still do it. If I had to guess, it can do it. Especially because it's trying really hard to rebound. It could reject it, obviously. I mean, VWAP is at 141 right now. This might be a case where, you know, VWAP is a go, but if it's a big wall just one tick below, it might struggle. But look, that wall that was there previously is a lot smaller. It's still there. $145 is on the ask. It was on the ask. That shows that there might not be a lot of sellers, but we'll see. I want to see this get to VWAP. You know, that's been a goal of mine, just to be selling them when it gets to that VWAP level. There we go, 143, just like that. It just breaks through it. I'd be selling into this if I was still holding this trade. I'd be trying to, I'd put a limit sell order at 140 or 141. If I can get that 145 gravy, that would be great, but I don't mind just trying to sell at 141. That's nice. This thing worked out. Morning panic bounce play. Nice drop, 15 to 13. Big volume candle right here. Sure, this one was a big volume candle too, but it was just the 3rd minute. Big volume candle. Take a buy at 133, risk off the day low. Sold at 137 just because it was struggling right here. But hey, look at this, 148. I would be trying to sell at that VWAP level. I guess I have to keep getting better at holding longer, but I think I did just that much better because I didn't hold for just under a minute or just barely over a minute. I sold 2 minutes. Sold 2 minutes later. I think that's progress in and of itself, but I have to keep working on this. If it has a lower low from here, that would be impressive, but this one might not try to do that. This one might try to rebound. I don't know. I was just going to let it do whatever it wants, but yeah, that's the state that I'm at right now. I don't know. DPLS might do a morning panic. That's a nice squeeze with AMC. This one was nice. It did it ultimately here too. This one was a bit sketchy because this, now it looks like a second green day, but hey, it did it from that, you know, that 9.7 level, you know, realistically being able to get executed in. Sell at 9.9, that's not much range, but it did get much higher. Alright, that's where I'm at right now. I'll be looking for setups maybe. Which one was it? DPLS. Maybe this one will have a morning panic bounce play. Okay, it is 10:09 a.m. AMC starting to downtrend. I haven't been paying attention too much because I'm watching the all-day live stream webinar, whatever you want to call it, Market Mastery with Tim Sykes, and it looks like he traded PBYA for a morning spike, which is pretty cool. HPIL is still uptrending. Maybe I could have considered the first dip towards VWAP. I don't know how this price action was when it was back here. I just didn't see it when that happened, but hey, it worked out. I mean, that 103, you know, I got to that 118, 111 if you're not patient like I am sometimes. LWLG is continuing. The high is 1082. This is gonna make it hard for it to crash when it puts up these higher lows right here, because all of this could be, you know, in theory, support levels. This one's doing pretty nice. DPLS, I had an alert go off when it cracked to this level here, but it was just having a big choppy drop, and then it had a big choppy spikes, and not much range actually. So that's where I'm at with this one. I'm just probably not going to consider it. WSRC could be a downtrending inverse head and shoulders, but those, in my experience, they can work out, but sometimes they only get to that neckline level, or in this level it might get to VWAP and then just fail. I don't see enough of range for me to be interested in it. Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I'll just keep watching the webinar. This did put up, I haven't seen these in a while, at least I haven't remembered one recently. It's a higher low, and that one worked out. I just wasn't there for that one. Again, just wasn't there for that one, and I did not see that dip towards VWAP or under VWAP. The dip slightly under VWAP here with HPIL, but in theory those two could have been setups, especially PHIL. Although it's not offering much range, this one can take a long time and just run, you know, maybe towards 1030 or 11. It is above VWAP, but we'll see what this one does. It's just going to be a watch for now. Alright, 10:15, I had a small trade. It didn't last that long. I didn't hold that long. This was a buy at 10:14 right here. 10:14, and I sold 10:15. I actually held this one longer than I thought. This one could totally work out. I was just trying to get in maybe a little early. It had an alert go off telling me that WISH is trying to do this breakout, which would be pretty impressive right here. You can tell that. Maybe I'm just not being patient enough with this, but it's just showing some toppy action. I don't mind trying to buy later or going for a breakout or something, but right now it's just it's very far from the VWAP level. It could still do it though. It can squeeze a lot of shorts. That's the good thing when it comes to this type of setup and price. There are just a lot of idiot shorts who are just screaming to get out of their trade, and that's what happens. It has some ridiculous buys. It did get as high as this $14.99 level, and I was in already the candle before right here, and it did get to that $4.99 level, but once it started showing that maybe it might not do it, or at least when I wanted it to happen, that's when I took a sell again the next minute, right? 14 to 15. Here was 14. Oh, okay, so I got in at right here. So I got in at 14 right when the minute started. So it did spike later as I was holding it. It did almost get to 15. It got to $14.99, and then I sold, tried to sell for slightly higher than what I bought, and that happened. Still showing some topping action, very far from VWAP. I will revisit this, or at least consider it again in the future, but it's clearly not working right now. It might just, you know, take some time. It might not ever do it, but this was a good attempt if you ask me, just to see if the setup worked. It didn't work here. It might just take longer than what I'd want it to. Maybe this is going to wipe out a lot of weak-handed people and then rip later. I don't know. This is going to be a watch. I think that was a good attempt. Alright, 1025. I tried again. It did not last very long to trade. I didn't like how weak the breakout was at 15. It just barely touched 15. It got to 1503. It could still do it. I'm just maybe not being patient enough, but I like setups to work immediately or not work at all. And that's pretty much the case that I was in with WISH. Again, trying again. My buy was at 1025 right here, right? No, that was my exit. My entry was 1024. Yeah, that makes sense. 1024 I got in, and it did make a run towards 15. It got to 1503, but that's about it. This thing could just totally do it later. It's just gonna be very choppy, you know, listed stock. It's just gonna do it eventually. Maybe it's putting up here a head and shoulder, shoulder head, and then it's gonna do a shoulder. I'll make an update. The breakout was not excuse me, the breakout was not as nice as I wanted it to be, so you know, I wanted to be right eventually. I don't mind if I miss the ultimate breakout. It could still be a good watch. I wonder how this thing has with options, if it has options. Does it have yeah, it has an option at 15. That's cool. I can't trade options, but looks like the calls are very cheap and the puts. Let me see how the chart is. It is uptrending though. Looks like the calls were at 74 cents at one point. Yeah, but there's still some kind of a price premium because, you know, it goes to July the 2nd. I could do something like that. Like, I mean, I'm not, but in theory, I can't trade options because my short selling account that could do options hit the PDT on accident. But you know, in theory, this one could work. I mean, you could buy a 15 call option or maybe 1450. This one could do it too. I don't know. Seems like I'd be paying a lot of money though. Seems kind of expensive, but alright, that's the stake that I'm at right now. This thing could work out. It's at 15 again. But you see there's just a lot of topping action. I'd want it to be stronger. I'll tell you what, it trades a lot of volume. I only trade with 10 shares, and it seems like the 10 shares get grouped with a whole bunch of other buys to equal out 100 shares on the level 2. It's not like I put 10 shares and it shows up 10 shares here on the level 2. Maybe it does, but and not the level 2, the time and sales, but I don't know. It seems like orders they all get grouped together. So yeah, that's where I'm at with WISH. Could be a head and shoulders pattern playing out. I'll probably be more hesitant to trade this, but it could totally do it at some point. I guess the main issue is that it's really far away from VWAP. Very far away from VWAP, but hey, it could totally work out. Okay, it's 11 a.m. LWLG continues the uptrend. The price action is really hard for someone who would want to be short, because there's going to be support everywhere. Look at all this support right here in the 9s. Seriously, the only thing that could really wipe this out in my opinion easily would only be if it were to get halted, and that's probably not going to happen. It could, but it probably won't. Nice uptrend. That's crazy, you know, scary, holding in a pump day after day, risking a halt by the SEC that would wipe out 60, 70, 80% of your profits. But hey, it's working. It's working so far. WSRC, it is downtrending. I don't want to trade it. It made sense, more sense here, but now the volume isn't that nice. We're heading into midday, as Tim Sykes says, so you know, I mean, if it has like a crazy humongous drop, right, with a whole bunch of volume that's much more than it's ever had recently, okay, but that's not the case right now. PHIL is just holding this level. It could be an inverse, not really, but it could be an inverse head and shoulders and trying to make a run. towards the end of the day, but I don't know. I like to see the setup working without me a few more times before I consider trading it. DPLS eventually had a big volume candle here. I didn't really consider it because it was just later in the day, not looking nice. But hey, it did get from this 6.9 level to VWAP at 7.1, and it broke through just now. So that's not really good range, although it looks nice in the chart. I called oh, this is confusing. This was something else. HPIL was that head and shoulders here. It did do that dip under VWAP. I forgot when I considered it. I think I considered it, or at least I see it, but I didn't. Yeah, it was here. I just wasn't there when it happened. Here was a dip under it. Nice panic. Maybe HPIL could be a not so perfect panic, but I don't know. REPO, it's nice at 32. But it's nothing I really want to trade right now. Maybe I'll do a head and shoulders there. WISH, I call the head and shoulders here. You know, shoulder, head, shoulder. I think I traded one section here, the other section here. Did not look at it here. I was, well, not really a good short because there isn't much range unless you trade a large position. But yeah, it worked out. In terms of a short, that's where I'm at right now. I probably would have covered right here when it, you know, or anywhere here really, or this gravy under that VWAP level, but that's where I'm at the moment. Maybe HPIL, but that's about it right now. Okay, just a quick update. 11:18. I was watching this for inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, and this thing just reversed in one candle. Had a nice big green candle. I wanted to see maybe a few more candles, but it just did it like that. No longer interested in that trade. HPIL did have that panic, although it wasn't really perfect. I wasn't really there either when it was starting to drop right around this level, but it doesn't look very clean, so that's where I'm at right now. That's a nice reversal with WSRC, but that one's a bit random, so no setups right now. I might take it easy, just continue watching the live stream, and you know, put off any trading ideas unless I see something that's just really nice, or perhaps later in the day. Alright, I'm here to call it off. It is 4:15 p.m. I don't know when was the last time I did the last one of these, but I think I was considering PHIL for holding this level, but I didn't because I just wanted it to prove that I can do it again and again. This one failed actually, so I don't know if it was here or not. It would have been a one where you have to cut losses quickly right at the level. WSRC, nothing I really wanted to trade except for that morning panic bounce play. It kind of worked. It was a little bit of a chop fest, and then it put up a lower low again, very choppy, but it did have that big volume candle, I guess. What, from the 22s to the 24s? Maybe that was a setup. I'm not extremely sure, but it does look like a chop fest. And HPIL did do a bounce after this level right here, and you know, it's pretty good. I don't know. I look forward to rewatching this to see what my take was on this at the moment. I think I just wasn't there when it happened. I was there for this DPLS. Just had a big volume, just kind of random in the chart, but it did work out. WISH never did, you know, a $15 breakout. It rejected. I was trading it here. I called the head and shoulders, which would have been for 1488 to 1462, and if you went for that gravy, 1447. But then it picked itself back up. I was interested in the inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. Spiked way too fast. Did not like it. Looks like it rejected. Tried again. I tried again. 1461 to, you know, that's 40 cents. That really wasn't bad. If you look at the whole chart, there's a lot of range in that setup here. But again, this threw me off because it did like one big spike right there. But that was a good attempt. LWLG just kept uptrending. No interest in shorting this. No interest in buying it. Although it did have a very choppy, not really consistent morning panic. PBYA. It's holding V1, but that's all I can say about it. I don't like, you know, how I can do these 1-day spikes and then downtrend. REPO is the last one. This one is probably the sketchiest one of them all. I considered it at one point, but it just was not looking nice anymore. The price action, I forgot exactly where. It did reverse here, 25 to, that's a lot of range, dang, 25 to 41. That would have been sketchy. And just to recap, which one was it? The one that put up, I guess this, yeah, this one was, that was a higher low, but the one with, which one was it? The one that did a lower low, let's see. This one ultimately didn't work out. Some of these, they put up a very choppy panic bounce, and then, you know, well, it doesn't have to be choppy, but it has a panic, bounces, panics, lower low, and it works. Like, it takes a while. This one wasn't really the case. I guess it's because it's not really a perfect, you know, at least 3-day runner. It's not like PHIL. This thing was a lot choppier. This one might be nice for a morning panic bounce play. There's no DPLS, you know, when they had this red candle here. Maybe it was here when it had that. I don't know. Just trying to find new setups and keep getting better. I did have that trade. Again, I traded Wish twice. Right here. Tiny. The first one was a tiny profit. The second one was break even. And then I had that trade with PHIL. Right, this one was killer. My entry was at 133, I believe. And I sold at 137. Could have sold at VWAP. Totally could have sold at VWAP, and that would have been like 7%. And I could have sold, maybe not here, but I guess perhaps saying, oh, is it going to get to this 15 level where it opened, and then it's struggling, right? And then you just take a sell at 145. That wouldn't be bad. And I did do one buy here with PHIL, thinking maybe this thing could do a morning spike. Immediately did not like the price action. I got out of the trade. Was having issues with executions, but I've learned now that if you place an order and then you try canceling it and it doesn't cancel and it's whatever, it says it's pending, doesn't know, just put a sell order. At least that works with Schwab, because that probably means that you got in the trade and they're just taking a while to figure it out. You put the sell order, it kind of all figures itself out eventually, and that saves me, right? This thing could have totally have wrecked me, but I cut quickly because I didn't like the price action. Very speculative trade. It was also a speculative position size, 10,000 shares at 0.15, so you know, 10,000 shares, right? That was like $150 position. So gonna call it off. I look forward to rewatching this. I have to keep getting more consistent. Overall, I guess I'm up like 20 something bucks. Could have done a lot better though with PHIL. So yeah, I look forward once again to rewatching this. I got a lot to improve on, a lot to keep getting better at and more consistent with.